Before I say anything else, let me say prayers out to the people in Florida. Huge hurricane going through straight up the middle of Florida. So hopefully everybody down there is ready, prepared, and safe. Oh, and make sure you all get your vaccines if you haven't already got them.
Let me be clear. If you're in a state where hurricanes often strike, like Florida or the Gulf Coast or into Texas, a vital part of preparing for hurricane season is to get vaccinated now. Everything is more complicated if you're not vaccinated and a hurricane or a natural disaster hits.
Joe Biden is completely gone. I mean completely gone. You see him offering up $11 billion to other countries to fight climate change. He has yet to pass anything or do anything for the black community here, for homeless people here, for poverty here, for our children, to protect our children here. Nothing. $11 billion of spending during inflation with a bad economy to other countries with bad economies to fight climate change.
This is a whole new chapter for America and for the planet. And we have to do a lot more. I pledged $11 billion a year to help poor countries fight climate change. Working with Congress, with your help, we can get this done.
This is what you guys voted for. He's so gone. They are giving this man a script, and he's just following it. He has no idea what's going on. His wife has to help him off of stage, tell him which way to exit.
Your purchase you want to do?
We'll go down and listen. Go down here and listen.
Let's go
We'll go
down.
down.
We're going to head down.
He's wandering around on stage, trying to figure out where to go. Again, another one of those global settings where they're talking about the world, but not this country. This is what you guys wanted? The economy is trash.
Stocks now down $7.6 trillion since President Biden took office.
And he celebrated. I'm not sure if he believes he's doing a great job. I don't believe he believes he's doing a great job. I think he does not know. He has no idea what is going on. I mean, I don't know. I find it very interesting that people still celebrate him and that it's still off limits to talk about his senility.
And they're making a lot of profit, and the public is paying as part of the inflation. And but look, my message is simple. To the companies running gas stations and setting those prices at the pump, bring down the prices you're charging at the pump to reflect the cost you pay for the product. Do it now. Do it now. Not a month from now, do it now. And it's going to save people a lot of money.
I mean, he's literally going to gas and oil companies, oil and gas companies, demanding that they lower gas prices. I've done videos on this. That's not how it works. He thinks that these companies are just gouging the American people, and he doesn't understand supply and demand in any way, shape, or form. He's that serious. Lower your prices now. AOC did the same thing. How are they running the country and they don't know how anything operates? They just legislate on sheer stupidity. These are your elected officials. AOC is blaming capitalism for birth rates being down. Rashida Tlaib is talking to banks getting humiliated in Congress, by the way. Telling banks that they shouldn't make investments if fossil fuels are involved.
You have all committed, as you all know, to transition the emissions from lending and investment activities to align with pathways to net zero in 2050. Do you know what the International Energy Agency has said is required to meet our global 2050 net zero targets of limiting global temperature rise to 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit or 1.5 degrees Celsius? So no new fossil fuel production starting today. That's like zero. So I would like to ask all of you and go down the list, because again, you all have agreed to doing this. Please answer with a simple yes or no. Does your bank have a policy against funding new oil and gas products? Mr. Diamond.
Absolutely not, and that would be the road to hell for America.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Sir, you know what? Everybody that got relief from student loans has a bank account with your bank should probably take out their account and close their account. The fact that you're not even there to help relieve many of the folks that are in debt, extreme debt because of student loan debt, and you're out there criticizing it.
The left is now trying to take back the narrative or erase the whole defund the police movement as if it never happened, as if they weren't calling for it for 2 years.
Suck it up. Defunding the police has to happen. We need to defund the police.
Mayor Eric Garcetti saying, take some of the money from policing, about $150 million.
I applaud Eric Garcetti for doing what he's done.
Not only do we need to disinvest in police, but we need to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department.
So yes, defund your butts. Defund you.
Yes, I support the reallocation of resources from NYPD.
We will be moving funding from the NYPD to youth initiatives and social services.
They are talking about reducing the allocation of resources to that department. And I think every single city in this country ought to be thinking about the same thing.
Yes, I support the defund movement. I'm for responsible reallocation of resources.
And defund the police.
I think you do all those other things, you don't need all the money that's going in the police department. So yeah, I mean, the spirit of it, I do support that.
Yeah, and a lot of us were asked if we could imagine a future without police back in 2017 when we were running for office. And I answered yes to that question.
We are going to reduce funding in the police department and redirect that money.
There's no reason the police budget should just keep growing and growing and growing. They can make sensible cuts to policing.
We propose to redirect over $7 million from the Police Bureau.
That our city, through our city administrative officer, identified $250 million in cuts.
Rashida Tlaib tweeting, no more policing, incarceration, and militarization. It can't be reformed.
When they're saying defund the police, what are they saying? They're saying we want fundamental, basic change when it comes to policing. And they're right.
We are reallocating funds. The police department here in Minneapolis needs to be dismantled, and we need to start anew.
In some necessary cases, completely dismantling those police forces.
Police departments are taking a sizable amount of the budget of a lot of municipalities and other entities. We need to look at those budgets, pull some of the money back.
Then when asked about being the party of law enforcement, Jean-Pierre just denies that there was ever a defund the police movement. Everything going on right now is strange. And it's like the left is trying to find their footing. And they know that they've been failing. They're not going to admit that they've been failing. But they know they've been failing. They can't admit that they're failing. But they're running. And they have to run on something. And they can't blame Trump for anything, even though they tried.
Thefts and robberies are up about 20% in the first half of this year. So I'm wondering if he thinks America's big cities are safe.
Are you talking about the New York Times story specifically? Or is that what you're referring to?
The murder rate's still 30% above its 2019 level. They're all from the Council on Criminal Justice. So we've seen some high-profile examples of this. The Washington Commanders running back was being mugged. He got shot. Karen Bass, member of Congress, had her house robbed. These are high-profile people. So should everyday Americans who are not in the public eye feel safe?
So
in America.
I'll say this, that same story also stated that the crime is complicated and multifaceted. Look, this is a president who has secured historic funding to make sure that law enforcement has what it needs, especially, and he was able to do this in the face of opposition from Republicans during a time where he inherited a rising crime rate from the previous administration.
Apparently now they're the party of law enforcement. Biden is doing some weird stuff with the when he speaks, he goes off script.
But guess what? We got a lot to do. You gotta say hi to me. We go back a long way. She was 12, I was 30, but anyway, this woman helped me get an awful lot done.
I guess we just ignore him, bring up some random girl who's 12 years old. We don't want to touch the topic. Nobody wants to ask the questions. What is he talking about, a 12-year-old girl that he met when he was 30? I guess that's not weird enough for somebody to say, hey, what is this guy talking about?
They're have relentlessly worked, and apparently they're going along in a fairly orderly way. I remain focused, on helping Puerto Rico, and I immediately approved the expedited major disaster, reducing that cost and concern. It could be that they need, and they've changed. They're charged with this progress.
He's gone. He's gone. So this goes back to my old question of who's running the country. Who's running the country right now? Because it can't. It's definitely not him.
And I want to thank all of you here for including bipartisan elected officials like Representative Governor, Senator Braun, Senator Booker, Representative Jackie. Are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here to help make this a reality.
You're in a place where they know she's dead. They know she's been dead. This isn't a gaffe. This happens all the time with this guy. This is who's running the country. These are the people in charge. This is the guy in charge. I mean, they're raiding the MyPillow guy. Our border czar, who has never been to the border, is saying that Latinos love the Biden administration for all the work they've done.
Do you think that your party, the Democrat Party, has lost touch with Latinos?
I will tell you, I have been so proud to be here with Latino leaders in Milwaukee talking about the work that we have done as an administration that has been focused on the Latino population. I'm here at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. I've been meeting with students, and these Latino leaders know and have thanked us for the work that we have done.
Mayor Adams in New York is disrespecting Kansas while trying to talk about the swag and the brand that New York has. I hope he never plans on running for president.
We have a brand. New York has a brand. And when people see it, it means something. You know, when we go there, it's not, Kansas doesn't have a brand. You know, when you go there, okay, you're from Kansas. No. Well, you know what? But New York has a brand. It has a brand. And that brand means diversity. That brand means we care. That brand means that we are compassionate.
The clown show is getting funnier and funnier for us on the right. But it's sad for people who thought they were getting something better. It's sad for the country and people who are struggling financially. I think they said the inflation number, the average household lost, I think, just over $4,000 a year, which doesn't sound like much, but if you make $25,000 a year or $40,000 a year, that's a lot of money. That's a big impact. That's the average loss, I believe. I could be wrong on this one. Probably not. left. They're upset over Italy's new president or prime minister. I don't know what they call them there. How dare she have a borders, language, culture, God first, family first platform. She's Mussolini. They're calling her a fascist. Google or YouTube, I don't know which one, I guess it's the same thing, they censored her speech. They took her speech off of YouTube. I forgot her name. I'll put it on here. So she's a fascist because she believes in God and family and country. Does that add up? Is that good math? God, family, country, fascist. Now, there are nationalists who were fascists, but they didn't promote God or family. Just so much is going on. They hate her so bad that they banned her speech. I don't know if they banned this newest one. I think they banned her 2019 speech. You can't have her coming off in a positive light. We don't want that. We have to make her look like a crazy person. The whole left, they're just running from point to point to point. And when something doesn't stick, let's move on to the next point. We have to keep pushing this. Biden's at a 36% approval rating right now, with just over a month to go for their elections. And notoriously, midterm elections, in the middle of the first term of presidency, goes to the other party. So that was going to happen regardless. But his poll numbers are worse than Trump's were when they gained seats. So it's I don't know. There's so much negativity going on, and they said it was going to be better. We were going to be unified because Biden, and we weren't better or unified because Trump. So now he's going to get in and everything's going to be so good. Democrats, you guys have everything. Run with it. Let's see what you got. This is what we got. Inflation, bad economy, crime was out of control. You hear what Jean-Pierre had to say about the crime?
I'll say this, and I've already said this already. The past few months, what we've been able to do is create a pretty much clear split screen of what we are doing to deliver for the American people and what Republicans refuse to do.
I know this video's been all over the place, but it's total chaos right now. When you have a government that doesn't understand what's happening, that thinks they're doing really good. When you have Kamala Harris saying that, you know, we're doing great, we're doing so good, we're doing a great job. When you have the one of the top advisors to Joe Biden, President Joe Biden, saying that MAGA, evil word again, MAGA is trying to destroy our democracy. They're trying anything. They're throwing anything at the wall. And that's the talking point. If that works, cool. If not, well, there's more where that came from. We're just going to keep throwing stuff at the wall. Something's going to stick.